So we'll take a few moments to gather ourselves and to bring our attention to ourselves fully. Staying with one's breath is the easiest way to do it. So for the next few moments, let's focus on our breath as it goes in and out. Fully in, I'll stay with my breath till it's within me. And as it goes out, I'll stay with it till the end. So taking a few breaths with full attention. Just before we begin this week's circle, let's invoke Mother's presence and grace and pray that may I be able to see a little bit more than I already see, so that I can make it a part of my life and live lighter and simpler. Thank you so much.
Hello, ma'am. Namaskar.
So we can start. And before I share the thing that we were reading from Psychic Education, the passage, do you have any questions about last time, or we can start the reading, and if something comes up, you let me know. We can start with questions if you have any. You're on mute.
Ma'am, I don't have any questions from last week, so I
Mhm.
think we can start. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yes. So we were reading these passages on psychic education, and we had read a couple, and yeah, so we'll take it forward from there. So I think the last one that we had read last time was this one. Never take physical happenings at their face value. They are always a clumsy attempt to express something else, the true thing which escapes our superficial understanding. So on last time, we had spoken a lot about death and, the events in our life, losing people, that how what we see, there's so much more under it. Yeah. Good morning, Sham. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
So we'll move forward from there. If you are willing, you can please read the next one, and then we'll reflect on that or how.
The incarnate word. Never complain of the behavior of anyone unless you have the power to change in his nature what makes him act in this way. And if you have the power, change him instead of complaining.
Yeah, I think again, these are such simple yet profound lines. And what's beautiful is like, I mean, they do look a bit difficult, and yet these are the problems that we deal with in our everyday lives, right? Like they are more practical because we do struggle with these, or we don't even know we are doing this, and how we are causing ourselves and others, suffering and pain. So, do you have any reflections on this, like, or if anything before we?
Yes. So from this kind of when before the beginning of this session during the meditation, I was going through a few questions about someone that has really irritated me in in not understanding a few things. And I was asking mother in my closed eyes on how should I don't know, how should I tell them that this is not what they think. And it's very surprising that the first sentence itself answers my question. It tells that unless I don't have the power to understand or to change in his nature what makes him act in that way, unless I don't have it, I should not complain. And if I have the power, I should still change him instead of complaining. So it's very surprising that the first sentence itself answered my question. So that was all I had to share.
You'll be very surprised to know that this happens all the time with a lot of us. That it's like, the sentence I have personally heard so many times that, oh, I'm so surprised that this topic was taken or this passage was taken because this was exactly what I was struggling with. So it's really amazing how things work. And secondly, again, this is another affirmation that how, every story is us. That we are all, we all feel that our lives are unique and, my problem is my problem and nobody would be kind of dealing with that. And yet, when we hear, when we read, when we talk, actually, because, on a regular basis, we talk, but it's not a conversation, right? It's a very superficial exchange. But when we are able to connect, then we see that how we are all going through the same thing. So it's so amazing that a lot was answered. So why do we think that it is saying that do not complain, right? That was the word, right? Never complain of the behavior of anyone. Why is complaining a issue? Can we reflect on that?
Yeah, Taru, what I am able to think is that, like you once told me, that everybody has their own journeys and they have their own life experiences, their own conditioning, and their own upbringing, their own way of thinking, the way they connect to something, and the way we are not able to connect to them. So that's why we should allow them that latitude that maybe we didn't have had those experiences, so we should not complain. I see it in that context.
Yeah. And
That's
Sham,
one.
why is complaining in itself, what does it do to us? If you could reflect on that a
Yeah,
little bit.
actually, it's very cheap kind of thing, because if we complain, then first of all, the complaint part of the thing, uh, it takes birth in our own heart, mind, body kind of thing, and so it will do harm to us only. Okay, because the originator is our own mind, body, intellect. Okay, so it will do harm to us only. We should be more accepting to them, and we should try to see things in a broader light, which many a times we are not able to.
Yeah.
Why complaining? Complaining, I think um, it doesn't answer their doubts. Let's say someone let's say I'm talking about a topic and someone is not following it or someone is not inclined towards it. If I complain about it, there is a very good chance that he will contradict it even more than understand it. Instead of so if I have to stick to the point, then I think complaining will only make things worse. It won't solve any problems, nor it will, help the person that we are complaining against in any way.
Yes, that's the other person. But again, like in addition to what was shared, I think in general, we tend to cling to different states, right? Like I cannot just be. A lot of times, especially stuck in my stories, I am often a victim that this is happening to me, the other is not understanding, or why is the world so bad, how these keep questions keep haunting you or keep poking at you, and you keep giving it weight, right? So there's something in me who wants to say that, oh, poor me, I'm stuck with that person or that situation, and yet I don't realize that I'm just becoming kind of catching on to the victimhood, right? Or it takes me into, say, guilt, that if I would have done better, if I would, like in your example, Jagan, that if I would have said better, maybe he would have understood or she would have understood. Like, and when I am either a victim or in guilt consciousness, then I just am stuck in the stories, and the real thing is not happening, right? Like there's no progress, there is no clarity. I'm not able to stay mindful or with the facts because I'm so busy being the one who needs to complain, because complaining somehow feel good to me. It's like, and it's very strange, and yet it's quite true that if two people complained about something or somebody, they feel closer. Have you? I don't know if you ever experienced that. That it has some weird negative aura about it, that that's why I think gossiping is very common, or talking about somebody else when you are kind of feeling very close to someone, that about a third person. So it's just something that one can just stick away from, because it doesn't lead to any good, right? And it really impurifies, I would say, my inner being. And if I am sensitive to my own being, I will see that whenever I'm going that route, there's something in me which is contradicting. For as an example, if we close our eyes, just a very small exercise, if just give me one. Yeah, as in, so I was just saying that if we close our eyes and if we just think about one person, okay, one person that we struggle with, and just think about something that he does, or, something, if you had to say something about that person, oh God, he just, I don't understand the loops he talks in or anything. Say something bad and feel how your being is feeling, like how your heart is feeling, what the movement that is going inside you when you are saying anything negative about the person. And now, just as an experiment about this person or anybody else, if you have to say anything good, just feel the movement that's happening inside of you. So I don't know if we were able to do it right now. I didn't guide it much, but it did not need any guiding. But this in itself will give me clarity what complaining does to me. There's this constriction when we are doing certain things we don't need to do, which is not my true nature. And yet I do it just because everybody is doing it, or sometimes I just feel कि चुप कैसे बैठूं, कुछ तो बोल दूं. Those things just to have a conversation, but it's not good. We must try to stop if we can. Sham, you had unmuted. Please
Yeah,
go ahead.
so well, mother have also said that there are a lot of toxic people, okay, who have a habit of saying anything ill about others behind their back, all that backbiting and backbitching kind of thing. Okay, so it also leads to more toxicity in the environment. So we must try to what you call we cannot shield ourselves entirely, but we must not give too much weightage to all those things.
Yeah,
अब
we
बहुत सारे
cannot
लोग
shield ourselves, but we can stop being, one
carried
poison
away
of, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
carried away by it. And there are many things what you call GMs are there, gossip machines are there, and the prime aim is to gossip behind people's back and say all kind of lousy things.
And that's okay. I don't have to be very negative towards them. But
Yeah.
for my own thing, I think the main thing is that I don't be one of them. Or,
Mhm.
if I have any issues with somebody, I take it as a fact, right? Okay, this person does this, and this is what I don't like, and I'm working on it, and I'm sure the person is working on it too, and it'll be okay. But that complaint mode, the cringing, the complaining, that's what kind of drains my energy and creates that negativity. So whenever I am about to think or say something in those lines, I can stop just myself
Yeah.
that no, no, I don't want to go there. And a lot of times, I have realized that I used to, even now, sometimes I start and suddenly something in me stops me that, I don't want to go that route. So I stop. I say, I was about to say something which does not need to be said. So let's just move on.
Yeah.
So we can
And Taru,
stop now that we know. Yes, please. Sorry.
and Taru, we should not join that bandwagon of gossip machines and all that because it also creates a negative aura around us and it harms us in ways which we cannot think of. Because
Yes,
if
absolutely. Yeah.
everything have vibrations, okay, so if I'm sending positive vibrations, then maybe the people in this circle, even though they are far away from me, they can realize an iota of it that this guy is so positive. Or maybe if I'm sending some negative vibrations, certainly people can realize it that this guy is so negative and he should be avoided and all that.
Ma'am, if I have to add, two things. Every time I am in a gossiping environment, if you seen Tare Zameen Par, in that Ishan Avasti, he has this alphabets going out of his head. What in the same way, when I'm not participating in the gossip, I'm just sitting there and listening to them. And after the gossip, I walk home or I do something else. I feel that my mind is empty. I feel that I always tell my mom, when I go meet these people, no, I feel like alphabets, information is going out of my head and I'm feeling empty. I'm feeling drained. It feels like I've worked for 8 hours and I want sleep. I cannot focus on anything else. So that is one thing. And in the beginning, Shyam said about how everyone has a different journey. To shed some light on that, I think that people complain. Most people complain because the expectation that they set is okay. Now I'll tell something to them, and instantly they have to understand. My mom told me that don't watch TV sitting next to it so closely. Don't watch TV so closely. And after, let's say, after 10 years, I finally agreed with her. That actually happened anyway. So now I see someone else doing the same thing. My expectation is that I tell him and he stops doing it right away. And if he doesn't stop, then I am very upset. And the other thing is to, like you know like you were always saying, to take a step back, take a couple of breaths, what that does is, at that very moment, it is extremely hard. Now I'm saying it because I'm not in that moment, but to step back and to look at things from their perspective and to understand their journey, and also to not set an expectation that, I'll tell him something or I'll tell her something and they have to listen to it right away. That is a very hard part. It's a big learning curve, but I'm at least glad that you, through these meetings and through these study sessions, that this realization has come upon me. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. So Ritu, welcome, good morning. So I just will quickly share with you. So we had just read this line. We are continuing from last time, and we are on these lines that never complain of the behavior of anyone unless you have the power to change in his nature what makes him act in this way. And if you have the power, change him instead of complaining. So these are the lines that we are taking.
Hi, okay. Unless you have the power to change in his nature, what makes him act in this way? Okay, yeah.
So we were just reflecting on the first part itself, that never complain of the behavior of anyone. So we were just discussing right now that why is complaining an issue? And you would have heard what, Sham and Jagan
Yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
sharing. Yeah. So just now
Right.
we
I
were
remember once
updating.
you had shared a poster which said that if you if you are with your friends or if you're talking and if you wanna complain, so rather not talk
Mm,
instead of complaining. So
mm,
being quiet or silent is better.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah.
But it gets so
Yeah.
attractive, sometimes we are pulled into it
Yeah.
to complain.
Yeah.
Automatically, it's like a slide. We just roll down with the complaints.
But knowing this, how you are saying it's like a slide, these tendencies are slippery slopes, right? It doesn't take 1 second for me to fall down. And yet that is where the vigilance comes in. And I know Sham and Jagan were talking about, other people, it's not helping them, that's not the right way, the vibrations are bad. But I want to again stress that whenever, even if I'm not complaining, I have very recently, seen it very closely, thanks to the situations and circumstances I was in, that even if I am commenting,
Mhm.
look, this person does it this way, there is a air of superiority in me a little bit. I know better, because otherwise I won't comment. If I'm liking something, I will appreciate. If I'm just passing a judgment or a comment mentally or using my words, there's something in me जिसे कहते हैं कुछ अंदर गंदा हो जाता है, मतलब ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं, अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, मतलब सोचने में भी अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, तो then you do it once, twice, thrice, 4 times, I don't know, 10 times, 20 times, but then you have to stop, you have to listen, I have it, I'm seeing it every time that when I'm going there, there's something in me which is not happy. It's saying that nahi, nahi, stop. Fine. So then you slowly start stopping yourself after you begin. That's what we were, even I had shared before. Okay, I still start because that's my slippery slope. But the moment I realize, oh, I've reached that space again, I say that,
Right.
okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to go there. Or, if I'm thinking, I would just switch to a chant. That, I'll just start taking Ma's name or switch to a chant. कि नहीं नहीं इस space से निकलो, इस space से निकलो, because
Mhm.
my purity is very important to me. I don't want to be impure. I don't want to further, kind of darken my own being. उसको और गंदा नहीं करना है. So just it's, yeah, that's, again, it's not for anybody else. It's not altruism. It's not I'm doing anybody a favor. But for my own self, I will not go there and complain and say,
Yeah, and it also depends a lot on your friend circle, because a lot of times I've seen that there are some friend groups of mine wherein mainly what we do is backbite and complain, especially about some moms together when we meet, always talking about the mother-in-laws. So, so I
Yeah.
think slowly and gradually, when we start seeing this, we start refraining from such get-togethers. But yes, I mean, the company impacts a lot, because if one person starts, then everybody starts, including me.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that if when I see it, the next time if I have to go to that circle, I weigh the going, right? I doubt, I ask myself, do I
Yeah,
want to go there? Because you're absolutely right. There's this story, and I would have shared it before, I like it, that, once, I don't know, something happened, and Anand asked Buddha, Ananda, his most kind of disciple, most, the one who was with him most of the time. He had said that, company seems to be quite important, like something, they were having a discussion like this. And Buddha said that no, Ananda, company is not something very important. Company is all there is. But your company decides your fate. That's why it's like, Buddha, and then there's Buddha, there's Dharma, and there's Sangha.
yeah.
Especially in Buddhism, the Sangha is really, and even, of course, we've heard that you become who you are with. And who you are
Mhm.
with is not just, and I think Sham had even shared this in this group, if I'm not mistaken, on the Circle of Harmony group, that what you take in is not just food, right? It's the news, it's the people you're talking to, it's the things you're exposing to, your thoughts, all that affects it. So एक तो पहले बाहर का हो गया, like you're saying, you stop the company, but the real, that's, it appears hard, but that's the easy part. That stopping my thoughts, my comments, my, unwantingly passing judgments or comments is what really, again, is important, and not just, एक तो होता है ना, इतने नीचे गिरे होते हैं कि मतलब न्यूट्रल पे आने की बात कर रही हूँ कि अभी ऊपर का तो कुछ पता ही नहीं है, but restraining ourselves from the negative movements that I am so dancing around with.
Right.
So emptying the cup जिसकी बात होती है ना, कि how will anything come in me if I'm so busy just riding the waves of, patterns and other people's and the collective,
Mhm.
कि क्यों जाऊं मैं वहां, क्यों जाऊं मैं वहां, मेरा हो गया. How we had taken a few times in the sessions in the circle, that first look at myself, and I'll talk about anybody else's, impurities when I am fully pure, just telling myself this. And the best part is, when I am fully pure, I will not want to talk about anybody's impurity. So just saving yourself,
Right.
myself, with such strong assertions, okay, when I am done, then I will have the right to complain or pass comments. So never complain of the behavior of anyone unless you have the power to change in his nature. सबसे पहले तो यही हो गया कि complain नहीं करना है, don't complain. Next, moving forward, unless you have the power to change in his nature, what makes him act in this way? So, basically, it's saying that if you can change the roots of why he's originating that way, if you have the power to do that, then you do that. Don't, how they say, don't hate the person, the doer, hate what is causing him to behave that way. And using the word hate is wrong. It's just something, we have heard. Okay? Yeah, so unless you have the power to change in his nature, what makes him act in this way? And if you have the power, change him instead of complaining. So small things, there's no need to even do. If you can actually do something from the, just remove it from the whole thing. So at least even if I can change anybody's, going there and changing the nature, which would be really hard and I would not know how to do it in most cases. So remembering this, I can just not go and complain. So for me right now, even the first part is enough. I'm just telling myself that if I can't change it, which I most likely can't right now, I will not complain about it. Yeah.
So, ma'am, based on this topic, I like a couple of years ago, I had this cousin. He was an extremely like abnormally smart kid from a very young age, and he was so smart that I always thought, he'll go into research and he'll become a scientist or he'll do something. And he also presented some papers to very big universities in the States. But um, like I think a couple of years ago, I found that he quit all those things and he started doing something that any average person would do. Like he started working in a company and not being ambitious and all. I was so upset. I was so upset because that is a very good, a very good quality being wasted. And I was so upset. I called him. I started telling him that why are you doing this? Why are you not risking it? And complaining it basically. And then one day I'm very close to him. So one day I ended up calling Nirakar uncle, and I called Nirakar uncle and said, uncle, so I'm all good, and I have this cousin of mine, and he's such a smart kid. He's such a nice kid. Um, it's a pure kid, but he is not daring. He's not having the courage to do something with him, and I'm feeling upset. The first thing that Nirakar uncle asked me is that, did he ask you to give him advice? I was like, that hit me very hard because he did not. He did not ask me. And I said, Nirakar, then why are you telling him? If he is not asking for it, then first of all, why are you telling him? Because do you know exactly what he should do to, gain that courage? I said, no, I don't know. Then why are you telling him? So don't don't advise someone or don't complain about someone when they're not asking for it. And so that is point number one. Point number two is, when we use like when students use Google Chrome while browsing, they bookmark their college their college site, they bookmark their online classes link, and then they browse everything else. So they always know that no matter what, they can readily go into the class or into the college website right away. So my question is, instead of like always subconsciously remember, like how does one bookmark such good thoughts that I should keep quiet, I should not complain, I should not talk too much, I should listen to people, all these good qualities? Is there a way to bookmark them inside a person's head so that wherever they go, whatever they do, these are always visible, and they know that they are visible and they'll reflect according to it? Thank you.
Yeah, any comments, anything from personal practices? Anybody would like to respond to this?
Yeah, I would say it's just about being every time being aware of what we are saying or doing. I mean, sometimes we are aware also that, okay, I'm saying the wrong thing. Maybe I have started again going into the gossip or complain mode, but still we go in there. So I think it's probably a lot of practice of being, like in Buddhism, they say there's this bell. So every time in 1 hour, you ring that bell twice so that you are back to where you are, because our thoughts keep wandering here and there. So once Monica had said that there are, in the entire day, there are lots and lots of pockets wherein we can again come back and stay there in that pocket, but we keep wandering all over. So it, I think, comes with practice only. Probably initially we don't even, realize that, oh, I'm complaining, but we are complaining, we are gossiping, all the negative thoughts are coming. But slowly we start seeing, maybe out of 24 hours in a day, for 2-3 minutes, that okay, I think I'm going there again, let me come back. So it would probably, after couple of months or maybe a long time, it would start happening, that I start seeing that, okay, this is happening and I should stop. My state is that I now see that this is happening and I should stop. So sometimes I stop, sometimes I don't stop, I still go there. So probably one needs to be really, really careful and mind your own thoughts and mind your own what you're doing most of the time. That's what I think. I mean,
Yes, thank you so much. So I think just like you said, I think the first and foremost for me is usually asking myself, do I really want it? Right? Because mostly when I'm, say, sitting in a circle like this or something, I say, no, I want to, right? But yet, when I switch off the screen, or when that main problem is gone, if something is disturbing me, but it stopped disturbing me, I forget about it. So, how important it is for me to do this? Because anything that I need to do, I have to change my patterns, right? Because if I'm used to thinking or talking or commenting a certain way, it's already all set. So for me to now say that, okay, I don't want to go on this path and I want to create a new path, effort is required. So if I want to learn a third language, how much effort will be required? The instrument, how much effort will be required? But when it comes to these things, I just feel that, okay, just because I want it and I understand it's good for me and everybody, I should be able to do it. And I expect it to be quite instant. Okay, once I try, twice I try. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with me? Why can't I do it? I don't see that the other thing that I've been doing that I want to change, I have done maybe 25,000 times in my lifetime. So how can 5 times or 15 times just make it change it for me, right? So giving it priority, remembering that this is important for me. So now if I sit down for my morning time, my meditation, my yoga, I remember this is something you have to be careful about. This is something I'm working on these days. And then you kind of think about it, you ask mother or whoever you believe in, the higher power, to guide you, to help you, that I want to give this up and I'm not able to. Can you please help me? Can you take this from me? So making it part of our prayers, of our aspirations. So giving it more time in my daily life, giving it importance. And like Ritu said, just mindfulness obviously is the golden key, but we forget that we have to remember, and that is okay. And this is how exactly it happens. At first, we are not even aware we are doing this. Then we become aware, but we are so much into the flow. अगर एक गाड़ी 200 की speed पे चल रही है, even if it wants to stop instantaneously, it's impossible. It is stop slowly. Right? 200, 180, 150, 140 में टाइम लगेगा. तो उसको वो टाइम ऑफ द डे देना कि it's okay, being kind to yourself also. And first you see you're not able to stop, but at least you can see. Then you see, then you're able to stop. Sometimes, like Ritu was sharing, then you see and you're supposed to allow, able to stop a lot of times. Then you see and you don't start. Again, those are all stages and they'll come naturally. But the first thing I think for me is to accept कि नहीं, अब मुझे वहां नहीं जाना. I have done that enough. और अगर वो नहीं आ रहा है तो इसका मतलब अभी तक we say we want to, but I am not disgusted by it. It's not important for me. Otherwise, I would give it that time and energy and do it, because whatever is very important for me, I do it. That's the proof. Yeah, that's all again from my how it's usually there. Yeah. Yeah, so I think let's now maybe we can go to the next one if we are ready. And in case there's anything, feel free to share more. So if anybody is willing, they can read this, or if there's any comment, we'll take it later. We can take that first and this later. So yeah,
Whatever
yes,
you do, yeah, should I start?
yes.
Whatever you do, never forget the goal which you have set before you. There is nothing great or small once you have set out on this great discovery. All things are equally important and can either hasten or delay its success. Thus, before you eat, concentrate a few seconds in the aspiration that the food you are about to eat may bring your body the substance it needs to serve as a solid basis for your effort towards the great discovery, and give it the energy for persistence and perseverance in the effort.
So, Ritu, kind of going back to your favorite quote that we, spoke about a lot, that an aimless life is a miserable life. So that's the first line, that whatever you do, never forget the goal which you have set before you. So firstly, if there's no goal, then so this line doesn't apply. But for those of us who have some basic direction, basic aim, if we keep that in mind, it makes it little tougher to go here and there. Then we still go. So there's nothing great or small once you have set out on this great discovery. All things are equally important and can either hasten or delay its success. So not taking anything for granted, paying attention to both the seemingly small movements, the big issues, and then this practice that before you eat, concentrate a few seconds in the aspiration that the food you're about to eat may bring your body the substance it needs to serve as a solid basis for your efforts towards the great discovery, and give it the energy for persistence and perseverance in the effort. So, Jagan, even this small practice, like you were asking, right? What can we do? So, this also is a way to just remember, right? It's again a prayer and aspiration, because usually, we don't even realize. Again, a new discovery for me, that there's some greed associated with food. I might not see it, but if I start watching my movement, it's as if it will give me something. Okay, suddenly you see something that you like and it's there, and the movements that happen. But when we are able to do this simple, exercise of just remembering that food is for the energy, right? Like eating to live and living to eat kind of a thing. But yeah, please, I'll stop and inviting reflections, and then we'll talk more. But please, individual thoughts, if any.
Uh, Ma'am, this is actually, can you share this particular paragraph in the group, or can you send it to me? 'Cause,
Yeah, I'll share the whole
um,
these points. They are very
mm,
nice. Yeah, definitely.
yes,
Yes.
yes. I have never practiced this one before, but uh, I have been so I have been working out for many years, like on and off, off, on, off, on. One thing I've noticed is that when you I used to see a few interviews of Bruce Lee, and there he tells that people, when they work out, they put on their headphones and they kind of enjoy, and they don't know what they're doing. But when you actually close your eyes, stop all surrounding noise, like, just focus on the workout and focus on exactly what it is doing to you know which muscles are being activated in doing a repetition, or in doing pull-ups or anything. I tried incorporating that, and the you know the difference that I've noticed is, when I have my headphones on, I'm listening to something and I'm working out. End of the workout, I don't feel motivated. I don't even feel motivated to go from one set to another set, or from one type of workout to another type. But when I focus on that, and I tell myself, okay, now you're going to do dips, so it's going to work on this part of your hands, and this is how it's going to react. So, and then it's a small, a small offering that, like gym is basically, it's a form of shakti. So just saying that, okay, ma, just protect me, and then doing it has a very different impact, and it is so interesting. um, I have been distracted for quite a while. My mind hasn't been in that path so far, and I am back to putting my headphones on. But this particular paragraph, it kind of put me back in track, that when you focus on what it does to you, the results are extremely different than when you just eat it for the sake of eating it. So that is what I wanted to share.
Yeah, and I would say that a lot of times we just eat without even thinking what we are eating. But if we look at it this way, that actually food is helping us achieve our goal, then we'll be respecting the food so much, whether it's tasty or it's not tasty. So it'll be like an instrument, like my body is an instrument. So
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. For me, when, especially when Jagan was sharing, I was reminded of, that, I don't know वो किस मूवीज का था, but there's this quote ना, कि जब तुम किसी चीज के पीछे होते हो तो पूरी कायनात उस पे
ओम जय
लगी हो.
जगदीश।
What is the dialogue, Shyam?
नहीं नहीं, जब तुम कुछ भी बहुत शिद्दत से चाहते हो तो संसार की पूरी कायनात तुम्हें वो चीज दिलाने में लग जाती है।
Even in
और
a
ये पॉलो
romantic
कोएल्हो
way,
का
I think it is said.
अल्केमिस्ट में भी है, पॉलो कोएल्हो का।
Yeah. What is
उसमें भी
it?
उसने कहा है कि when you really want to achieve something, the whole world conspires in helping you achieve that।
Yes. Yeah.
और
All
बहुत
the
जगह है,
forces.
सीक्रेट,
हाँ.
सीक्रेट में भी है। रोंडा बाइन्स का सीक्रेट पढ़ी है आपने?
हाँ.
पढ़ा है आपने?
हाँ, पढ़ा है. Yeah.
हाँ, बहुत अपीलिंग है। उसमें भी, उसमें तो और ज्यादा ही मतलब कि उसको
Yeah.
एम्पलीफाइड वे में उसमें लिखा गया है सारा चीज।
या डेफिनेटली वो तो बुक का सोर्स वही बेस ही यही है ना कि या
एंड इन मैजिक
ये
दे
dialogue,
वेल,
या श्याम
this
कंप्लीट
was
व्हाट
from
यू वर
this
सेइंग
was
एक सेकंड मैजिक
sorry,
का
sorry.
लेट हिम जस्ट या श्याम व्हाट मैजिक वर यू सेइंग
हाँ। और एक उसकी दूसरी किताब है मैजिक, उसमें शी टेल्स अबाउट द ग्रेटिट्यूड, दैट हाउ यू शुड बी थैंकफुल टू ऑल द
ओके
गिफ्ट दैट ऑलमाइटी हैव गिवन टू यू एंड थिंग्स
ओके
लाइक दैट। एंड इट इज आल्सो क्वाइट अपीलिंग।
ओके
बट सीक्रेट एंड पावर आर द बेस्ट। ओके। और एक
ओके
चौथी किताब आई है हीरो, ठीक है। वेल, ये चौथी किताब भी 4 साल पहले तकरीबन आई होगी, मे बी।
ओके
बट द रोंडा बायंस इज ऑल टाइम बेस्ट।
ओके या थैंक यू
एंड
श्याम
यू लाइक, वेल,
Yes, Jagannath, please. Sorry.
No worries, man. No worries. That dialogue is by Shah Rukh Khan from Om Shanti Om.
Yeah, I think मुझे भी
That's
कुछ
very
शाहरुख खान से related आ रहा था. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Second is that when Ritu was telling that I'm eating this food because my body is an instrument. That thought is extremely powerful. I think that my father told me as well. He never complained on what was on his table. I thought he's just scared of my mom, but no, he always respected food. But
Mm.
what I've realized is that as a I'm a bachelor living here, especially after I moved here. Sometimes due to job and assignments, the eating cycle changes, and sometimes it happens such that I'm stuck in a meeting, then I have an assignment, and I don't eat until 4 p.m. And once the 4 p.m. hits, I go out, or let's say I go to McDonald's, I order something. I'm desperate. I'm very desperate to eat it. I don't have time to think about, okay, what is going to do to me. I just want it, and after eating it, I feel good, I feel bad. That depends on how much I eat it. But uh, you know um, copying the same experience into any scenario where I become desperate to tell someone that you have to change, or to tell to give any kind of suggestion out of desperation, it totally takes away those bookmarks I was talking about on how to
Mm.
behave, how to remember that, okay, how to be conscious of the things that are being taught.
Mm.
So yeah, I think desperation is also a kind of an enemy in that
Mm.
sense. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So yeah, so basically the dialogue thing what I was sharing was that if I see, then if I choose one aim or purpose, right? Like it was saying the main goal and never forgetting it. And then when I start incorporating everything that is leading me towards the goal, first of all, फिर उसमें पूरा एक प्लान होता है ना, कि ओके ये यहाँ जाना है और ये सब मुझे दिख रहा है उसके लिए करना है. Then a lot of, I don't know, the whole universe rearranges itself that you can, some power, some forces will stop you, some forces will help you, then the whole game changes. So at least you're playing the right game, at least you're doing something that is important. Acharya ji, Acharya Prashant, he talks about this quite a lot, that it's not about winning or losing or failing or victories. It's about what wars are you fighting. So if you're fighting a, I don't know, war, that means nothing. And if you're winning in it, it doesn't mean anything. So it's okay if I'm losing, if I'm not able to, you know, imbibe certain things or change something thing. But if what my intention is, if what I am wanting to do, if that is pure, that in itself is a good game, and there's a chance that things would happen. So I think it's very important to see what is it that is important to me. So whatever you do, never forget the goal which you have set before you. There is nothing great or small once you have set out on this great discovery. I cannot just say, okay, this is important, that is not important. Everything is equally important. A small comment can come and just, dirty my whole conscience or something, and can either hasten or delay success. So everything is important. And now the example of eating, that just before you eat, concentrate a few seconds. You see, Jagan, you were talking about that you sometimes wait till 4 to have your first meal almost, right? Or lunch, I don't know what you were talking about. But so if you have waited like 4 hours beyond your capacity, and still it's just saying a few seconds, not even a minute, right? It takes a few seconds. So we can do that, right? If it's important to us, if I waited like 4 hours, I can also just put in a few seconds and just say, yeah, that may it. And I've seen that it just changes the whole thing from greed. it kind of becomes a service. It kind of becomes, again, something bigger than just satisfying my senses and tongue. So never taking anything for granted and giving everything its importance. And yeah. So this is the second thing, is in continuation only, I remember, of this. So if we are ready, if we can take the next para, that is with the first one only. That was about eating, and this is about sleeping. So if anybody is willing, if they can read it.
Sure. Before you go to sleep, concentrate a few seconds in the aspiration that the sleep may restore your fatigued nerves, bring calm and quietness to your brain, so that on waking you may, with renewed vigor, begin again your journey on the path of the great discovery.
Yeah, so that the first one was about eating, and like I said, these seem really important because they are connecting with the everyday life. This is about sleeping. And in the book, the sunlit path, again, mother has spoken about that, how these basic things which appear basic, we were not taught because we are not aware of them. How will we teach unless we know about them? So here she says that before you sleep, concentrate a few seconds. Again, just bringing our attention to the fact that it's not saying 1 hour, 30 minutes, because those seem big chunks of time to us and they seem difficult. So they're just saying a few seconds in the aspiration that the sleep may restore your fatigued nerves, bring calm and quietness to your brain, so that on waking you may, with renewed vigor, begin again your journey on the path of the great discovery. Something in me would say, वो तो automatic ही हो रहा है, right? If I'm eating, obviously I'm getting the energy. If I'm sleeping, obviously I'm getting the rest. But it doesn't, I mean, it is there, it happens, and yet when I am more conscious of it, like Jagan, you were saying that when I become, conscious of things, when I'm with them, you said something, I don't remember exactly what example you had given. But again, for me, the most profound example in this case is breathing, right? I don't know how many times a day I am breathing in and out, but the 4 breaths or 8 breaths of mindfulness that I may be taking during the day, they really change things for me. If at the end of the day, if I would just recall what all happened, I would remember those breaths that I took, those 2 breaths, those 4 breaths, which were there with me fully present. So एक simple चीज जो कि 1 million times मैं एक day में कर रही हूँ, for example, I don't know the number, I'm sorry. If I give it energy that, okay, I'm conscious, okay, I just, I was breathing in and I just breathe out, it changes, right? It leaves a mark. So I am eating anyways, but if I can focus few seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, okay, oh, I hope this gives me what my being needs. It changes. Ekdam se there's this magic that happens, and especially when we do it on a prolonged basis, I've seen. And sleeping also, usually we put some music, we either are lost in our thoughts and stuff. But mother again in the sunlit path has very beautifully said. We'll take those passages. I think those are very important. That how to sleep, that how you have to just, feel that you're like a rag. There's no feeling, no thought, no emotion, and slowly just, those kind of fall. It's like it shouldn't be कि बस लेटे और धड़ाम करके सो गए. It has a process. It has a certain, way of sleeping for you to get the maximum rest. so that the mind doesn't go here and there and hither and thither. Yeah, please. And yes, Shyam.
Yeah, Taru, like you said, that sleeping also has a what you call, we have a method on how to sleep. So if we really apply that method, then the morning we wake up, we are not lost in our thoughts, and there is more clarity and more light.
Yes, Shyam. Thank you for sharing your experience. Absolutely.
With the food example that all you shared, like in the Hindu mythology, we say that खाते वक्त बोलते नहीं हैं. So it is said that with each हर एक निवाला लेने के साथ we thank the Almighty for bringing the food to our table.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. That sounds idealistic, and yet if I cannot thank in every bite, with every breath, at least a few seconds I can do, right? That much it feels I can do. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Jagan, please.
Yeah. Ma'am, the the best thing about attending these group sessions is I've noticed that different people sharing different things. Now, like in the beginning of this session, I had so many things in my mind. Ritu ma'am was saying that she was talking about the point of aimless life, and then someone else told about how to incorporate uh, the reason behind doing something, like if I'm eating, why am I eating? Now, I find that it like all these pieces are falling together, because I find that this is kind of a military mindset, or someone scaling the Mount Everest. I find that, okay, when they are eating, they don't eat to aaj samosa khaunga. No, they eat that so that they have that energy to scale the mountain the next morning. They sleep to have the energy to climb the mountain, to recover from the fatigue. This is a very eye-opening session to me, because it totally changes my perspective on how I look at things. And maybe the thing is, this effect, I want this to prolong in me, but I at least know that the reason behind doing something, one must have an aim. Why am I eating this? To enjoy it, or what am I getting out of it? So this has been extremely amazing. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Jagan. Just the thing, sometimes we just feel overwhelmed with gratitude, or with, oh, this is so great, and we just express that, and then we forget to take it within us, right? So the most important thing is to put it into practice, whatever we can. So do, and just some, again, I think we have shared this before, that there's something in me which feels that just I heard it, I understand it, and it will happen by itself. It does not happen by itself. Small, small things, these few seconds that Mother is talking about, they make or break our lives. They really can put energy into our whole being and guide us towards where we want to be. And I think these few seconds, 5 minutes of meditation, say Jetsunmala says, Mother is saying seconds before you sleep, seconds before you eat. I think we can do that much, right? If this means anything to us, although our life may be directed towards different goals for right now, but if we have these small, small disciplines, small, small practices, it will really help us big time. So yes, thank you for recognizing that, and hoping and praying that we all can incorporate more of this in our everyday life. Yeah. Yeah, so you had put it very nicely that it's just everything is targeted towards my climb on the Mount Everest, as if. So even, the next one is again on the absolutely the same line. Yeah, Shyam, would you like to read this? You haven't read anything. If you would want to, just, it's a small one-liner. Yeah, Shyam, are you with us?
Didn't unmute myself.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry. Before you act, concentrate in the will that your action may help or at least in no way hinder your march forward towards the great discovery.
Yeah, thank you. Again, what we were talking about, those comments and judgments, I think this is exactly what I was trying to say, that first of all, they don't help. Second, they rather take me in the opposite direction, right? So mother spoke about sleeping, eating, and she's saying before you act, concentrate in the will that your action may help or at least in no way hinder your march towards the great discovery. And in this act, I would say again, thinking, speaking, anything. Sometimes we just lose it and we just react. But if I can just take those few seconds and just say this, may this help, may this lead me towards that, may this also lead me towards that, that the things that are not needed, they start dropping away. You start seeing that this seemingly innocent act of mine or thought of mine, just how impure it is and how it's just unnecessarily complicating things for me or taking me to places where I don't need to go. So this is again, when we do these things, it's like there's so many moments of my life which are full of a prayer, right? Which are a prayer to the universe, to the divine, to mother, that, I want this, take care of this, take care of this, take care of this. Okay, everything should be towards that goal. And we all know this, right? Because we have had goals, we have had accomplishments, we have reached targets that we have wanted. We know just how much is needed when we are towards a deadline. But हम छोटे छोटे projects में, for money, for name, for titles, for degrees, for percentages, we are able to focus so much. Basically, if you talk to mothers, I have, say the children are giving board exams or they have exams and stuff, how much the mother is like, okay, milk will give him this, almonds would give him this, I will not give him rice at night because that will make him sleepy and then he will not study, those things. वो छोटी छोटी चीज जिसमें कुछ है ही नहीं, उसके लिए इतना फोकस है। और यहाँ पे ये बात हो रही है कि भैया बहुत प्रेशियस ह्यूमन बर्थ है, राइट? लाइक यू हैव अ प्रेशियस ह्यूमन बर्थ, प्लीज फोकस, प्लीज सी, डू व्हाट यू रिमेम्बर के करने क्या आए थे, थोड़ा याद करो, थोड़ा वे दिस बर्थ नॉट गो वेस्ट। और उसमें हमें लग रहा है कि हाँ हाँ अभी मैं लाइक जगन यू सेड समोसा खा लूं, बाकी तो मैं बाद में देखूंगा। सो दैट इज माई रियलिटी एंड दैट्स फाइन इफ इट हैज बीन माई रियलिटी, but if I want more, then I have to change my ways. And how beautiful to have these small practices which seem doable, very doable. If a little bit of will is there. Yeah. There's this beautiful poem that we had come across while I think I would have, kind of shared this before. I really liked it, but it really helps me in keeping things through. Like in Alokda's transcription one, there's this poem that either Sri Aurobindo has written or he has translated. It has 4 lines which were very beautiful. So Alokda was talking about what is a puja, how we kind of do pujas and so many rituals. So in that, those 4 lines are there. They are in Hindi, that तुम्हें मलिनता नहीं सुहाती तो मलिन्य तजूंगा. Right now, say if I say that, okay, I want to become good for the mother, I want to be an instrument that she can use, or if I want to offer something to her because she has given me so much. So again, these lines that तुम्हें मलिनता नहीं सुहाती, because you don't like impurities. You don't like impurities. Malinta is mean, again, malinne, something which is not clean. To malinne tajunga. So I will give up. I will get rid of all my impurities. Satat spoon vidhi nishkalank. I don't know the exact meaning, but nishkalank again means that one that cannot be blamed, which has no vices. So full, I will become a person without vices, and then होकर माँ तुझे भजूंगा. So once I am that pure, I reach that purity, then I will worship you and offer me at your feet. So again, when I'm talking about impurities, one thing is ethics, one thing is morality, one thing is why do I go there? But because I have to give my offering to the gods, right? अब जैसे अगर if we have a small puja at home, how careful we are about the things, the halwa, कि वो clean रहे, कि कोई उसको touch ना करे, कोई मुंह ना लगा ले, है ना? We have these small things कि everybody is asked to take a shower, you wear new clean clothes, or not new, but at least clean. But अंदर जितनी गंदगी है वो रहे. You know how sad is that? So again, this is like purifying myself so that I can, because I love you so much, I want to be the best, the purest version that is possible for me, for you, so that I can offer myself to you. So I thought it was really beautiful. And अगर कोई aim हो तो ऐसा हो वरना ना हो, kind of. Again, it's sounding like a dialogue from a movie, and yet I hope I pray this becomes the aim of our lives, to become pure and pure and purer and purer. Yep. Yeah, so I think from my end, we can end here today. So we spoke about never complaining. We spoke about setting the goals towards which the whole life can be directed, eating, sleeping. And Mother says, before you act, concentrate in the will that your actions may help, or at least in no way hinder your march forward towards the great discovery. Yeah, so I think taking it slow is better, because then we totally forget what we were talking about. So little is better than more. So any comments, any reflections, any challenges that we might be facing that we want to discuss? Yes, Ritu.
Yeah, there is one big challenge which I face when I'm in the session or when I'm reading something. Then I understand it well that, yeah, this is so good and this is the perfect way. And when I look at myself from a distance, I mean, when I can detach myself from the situation, then I can understand, okay, this is what I should be doing. This is where I should be going. This is how I should be behaving. This is what I should be thinking. But when I get into that situation, then I don't remember all these things. So it seems there are two of me. One who wants to be like this, and the other who doesn't want to be like this. So it's difficult, because it's frustrating, because it feels that if you really want to be like this, why not? What's stopping you? But it's strange, but there is something which maybe I need to work harder or be more determined. Like Jagan said, if you want to climb the Everest, you have to be so disciplined. See, if you want to climb the Everest, on the way, you can't just go for a night out to a pub. So, but it happens. I don't know, with me, it happens. Maybe I'm too sweet to myself. Okay, let it be. I'll do it from tomorrow. It's like exercising. I'll do it from tomorrow. So even if I'm gossiping today, complaining about somebody, and the thought comes to me, stop it there. you need not go there. But I would say, okay, ये वाला complain तो कर लेती हूँ.
हाँ.
Let me just, enjoy this moment. And then later I'll not say anything bad. So I don't know how it would actually be into practice what I aspire to be. So I'm leading a very dual life. Aspiration is different and practice and actual doing is different.
Ma'am, actually, when I was listening to everyone in this session, I was thinking the same thing, like I'm talking about the Everest example, I'm talking about how to think before I talk and all. Once the meeting ends, I'm back to my normal life, doing the same stuff again. This time, what I'm done, at least for me, what I'm doing is like ma'am was saying that sometimes some things that you have done for thousands of times, you need to change them by, you cannot just change them by doing something good like 10, 15 times. It has to be like a repetitive thing until it becomes a habit. So at least for me, what I'm trying to do right now is that I've noted down the all the points. So I'll create a page on my home screen on my phone just dedicated for these points, and I use my phone all the time, so maybe I'll just look at those points and keep on reminding myself until it gets established in my mind, even without looking at it at one point. Maybe that's how I'm approaching it. I'm not sure it's going to work, but that's what I just wanted to share. Thank you.
Yeah, so Ritu, it's an excellent question. And again, how we started in the beginning. I don't know whether you were there when we were sharing this, that every story is us. There's nobody I would know that who would not resonate with what you're saying. And we had done a session in Harmony Circle on this. The topic was that I'm not one, I am many. You were saying I'm two, right? It seemed there are two of me, but the truth is there are many of me pulling me in different directions, right? You remember that we have heard the story so many times, about the bad wolves and the good wolf, or the white wolf and the brown wolf, and the kid asks if which wolf will win, right? When somebody says there are two wolves living inside us. And the answer was that the wolf that you will give power to, he will win. They are both inside of me. तो वहीं पे आके आई थिंक सारी बात आ जाती है कि आई नो दे आर things, forces, events, life situations. Yes, Shyam, please.
Yeah, nothing, Taru. I was hearing to you with rapt attention.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I am muted mistakenly.
Okay. Yeah, so things are pulling me and they will pull me. That is a fact. And knowing that, again, I'm remembering AP again today, when he says कि मुझे तुमको बचाने के लिए तुमसे लड़ना पड़ता है. कि the one who's standing against me is not anybody else or the world or the society. I think it is. But I myself am standing against myself, and that is why my war is so difficult, because I have to fight against my beliefs, my judgments, my thinking, my patterns, my habits, my lifestyles, my yearning for comforts and settlements in life. है ना? So ये मतलब he was like, if I have to even pull you out from a fire, you want to punch me on my face, so I have to fight you to save you. So similarly, just knowing first of all, the fact that you can see this, that it feels there are so many of me or two of me, that in itself shows कि okay, light is there, right? अंधेरा नहीं है, अब दिख रहा है कि एक कह रहा है कि मुझे करना है, और जब बारी आती है तो वो पहले वाले की तरफ भाग जाता है, राइट? काइंड तो मतलब अब जो कह रहा है कि नहीं मुझे नहीं गिरना, उसको मुझे पावर देने. There was this beautiful thing from mother. I couldn't find it. I tried to find it when Jagan was speaking. I looked it up. Mother was speaking about anger, and she said कि because we are not one, we are many, and everything that we need to now change, it requires a very strong will कि मुझे तो करना ही है, you know that, because कई चीजें जो हम कहते हैं, जैसे अगर मॉर्निंग वॉक शुरू करना है, some people are very smart at it, you know, they don't give themselves an option of saying no. So we have to be very strict with ourselves for things that are important to me, कि नहीं अब तो बस बहुत हो गया, you know, अब तो बहुत हो गया, अब तो मुझे करना ही है, कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है. Like you said, we get lax, right? We get lax कि we'll do it the next time, but we don't know if there is a next time. तो मुझे तो इसी टाइम, अगर मैं कोई गॉसिप में शुरू हो गई हूँ और मुझे बीच में मैं 10 चीजें बोल चुकी हूँ और अभी 2 रह गई हैं और मेरे को स्ट्राइक हो रहा है कि ओ गॉड, ओ माय गॉड, मैं तो फिर गॉसिप करूँ, तो वहीं पर ही you can just stop yourself. It feels abrupt to others, but you say, you know, there's no point in going there. I'm sorry, I don't want to go more. तो जहां रुक सकते हो, जब दिखे तब रुक जाओ. तो धीरे धीरे धीरे, पहले 10 बारी के बाद रुकेगा, फिर 8, फिर 7, मतलब स्लो है हम लोगों का प्रोग्रेस, बिकॉज जड़ता बहुत है ना. We are coming from the stones and we have to fight that stoneness, that ignorance, that darkness in me. So kindness is very important. Recognizing which you are already doing is very important. So the main thing is there कि लाइट जल चुकी है, अब दिखता है जब गलत कर रहे होते हो, है ना. वो अपने में बहुत बड़ी ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन है. देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट इट. एंड नाउ आई जस्ट हैव टू से कि नो, you know, I think Monica was sharing, I don't know in which session, maybe this one, there's this person Eileen who comes into Jet Sunmala's sessions, and she is again a Buddhist nun, very beautiful, very simple, single, pure-hearted. I don't know, these things were not needed, but she had, I think, shared this once when she was meditating in a I don't know, joint thing, there were some people talking outside. So, you know, she was just waiting, okay, let them finish, maybe in about a few minutes they'll finish and then she'll be able to focus, because she was getting distracted. But then a voice inside her told her, how do you know you'll be even alive after 2 minutes? You know, you're waiting for them to finish. तो अगेन हम इस बात को मानते नहीं है ना. हमें पता है कि हमको नेक्स्ट पल का भरोसा नहीं है. हम अगेन उसको बॉलीवुड मूवी के डायलॉग की तरह लेते हैं और ऐसे कहते हैं कि बहुत टाइम है, बट टाइम है नहीं. मतलब अब जब दिख गए, जिसको नहीं दिख रहा वो तो कुछ नहीं कर सकता, राइट. तो जिसको दिख गया है, जिसकी आंखें आप देख रही हैं, टू बी स्ट्रिक्ट विद वन सेल्फ कि नहीं अब मेरे को excuse nahi hai. You know, again, you know, once somebody had asked Jet Sunmala that I want to wake up at early morning to do my practices, but lot of times I get delayed and then I get, you know, boggled down into the everyday affairs. How do I do it? You know, she said कि it's not important for you, else you would, because say if I were to tell you that, you know, you will die the next time you don't wake up at 5 a.m. for example. If it's a matter of life and death, you'll say, no matter what happens, मैं चाहे सो ना रात में, but मैं 5 बजे उठूंगी अपनी प्रैक्टिस के लिए, because you know somebody has told me कि I'll actually die if I don't do this. तो उतनी एक sincerity, you know, एक वो हो, force हो मेरे अंदर, तो मजाल है मैं ना रुक सकूं, है ना. तो मतलब making it a focus, giving it priority, aspiring for it, praying for it. सेकंड्स हमें लगता है बहुत लंबा प्रोसेस है, बट लाइक मदर सेड, सेकंड्स एंड अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग विल कि नहीं नहीं, नेक्स्ट टाइम नहीं, अभी 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 दिखा अभी रुकूंगी, अभी दिखा अभी रुकूंगी. एंड स्टॉपिंग माई सेल्फ फ्रॉम गोइंग टू प्लेसेस, टॉकिंग टू पीपल, नो मैटर हाउ इट फील्स कट ऑफ, और ऐसा लगता है कि फिर मैं करूंगी क्या विदाउट, बट यू नो, तो जस्ट
Yeah, sometimes I feel, you know, like we get a health checkup done and उसमें आता है कैल्शियम कम है, या this thing needs to be more vitamin C, D, so we take those pills. Similarly, there should be something for this also. Willpower कम है, kindness कम है, so there should be some pills. Okay,
अब ये जो सेकंड्स ऑफ एस्पिरेशन की बात कर रही है ना, वो यही पिल्स हैं ऋतु. ये जो मैं एस्पायर कर रही हूँ कि मैं जो खा रही हूँ मुझे सही मतलब उस मेरे अंदर वो एनर्जी जाए, मैं सो रही हूँ तो मैं वो सोच रही हूँ. तो दिस इज एग्जैक्टली दैट. कि I am giving it that medicine so that I get more strength to walk on that way. So this prayer, aspiring, giving it priority, mindfulness, ये यही तो है. बट मटेरियल नहीं है, मुझे मटेरियल की आदत है ना. बट मटेरियल नहीं है, बट मेडिसिन से बड़ा ही है कि फोकस में सारा एनर्जी उस पे दे रही हूँ, है ना.
एंड तरु, हमें हर चीज की आदत होती है कि हमें फिजिकल मेजरमेंट की, ओके, दैट लेंथ इज इन मीटर्स एंड ऑल दैट इज इन मीटर्स, but here there's no physical measurement kind of thing. But yet if we are watchful and mindful, then we can gauge some element of purity coming in our being.
I'm sorry, Shyam, just say the last sentence again. If I'm watchful, I'm aware of some purity coming in my being. ये बोला आपने?
If I'm watchful and mindful of my thoughts, my actions, and where is it leading me to, और ये हो क्या रहा है, ये चल क्या रहा है, जब इस तरह के सवालात मैं खुद से पूछता हूँ, then I can see that there is some purity coming in my being and my overall existence and things like that.
Yeah. प्योरिटी दिखे ना दिखे, बट इम्प्योरिटी भी दिखने लग पड़े, वो भी अपने में इज अ बिग ब्लेसिंग, राइट? दैट yeah, absolutely. You know, when somebody asks mother that what is one thing that you would say that would help me, you know, in kind of doing it faster or better, she said sincerity. Yeah, we lack sincerity, and that is why we are not able to. तो वो भी है standard path में. We'll take up these passages. There's no rush here. There's no agenda. So we'll take up the sleep thing, the eat thing, the sincerity thing once we are done with it. Yeah. But दिखता है और हमें पता है. हम we pretend कि हमें नहीं पता. We term this session and we term this real life and we say they cannot come together. But point ही इसको रियल लाइफ बना लेना है ना, कि कोई वो डिस्टिंक्शन ही ना हो. इट्स नॉट अ सेकेंडरी थिंग. इट्स नॉट अ एक पूरे एक हफ्ते में मेरा एक ब्लॉप है ना, इसी से ही उसको फ्यूल देना है. और फिर रियल लाइफ और ये लाइफ डिफरेंट नहीं रहेगी, और जब तक रहेगी तब तक चेंजेस आना मुश्किल है ना. Yeah, so we are done. So just before we end, we always just pray for ourselves, want for our own selves, and that's a prison that we, chain ourselves in. Just taking the last minute, knowing that how I suffer, how I feel pain, how my life has presented me with challenges, suffering, pain. I truly pray that may all of us, maybe we see the light and we are able to follow it, that all beings, all sentient beings may truly be well, may truly be at peace, and may truly be happy. Today I pray, and sharing the merit that I have accumulated with everybody equally. So, yeah, thank you so much. So we'll end the session here. Thank you for joining in, for these questions, the interaction, keeping the cameras on. It really makes a difference in conversations, and for staying till the end. Yeah, do you want to say something? I don't know. Yeah, please.
So when we say this prayer, that may everybody be peaceful. So when I say this prayer, I feel I'm not peaceful yet. So how can I wish that everybody be peaceful? कि पहले खुद तो peaceful हो जाओ.
हाँ, तो everybody में मैं भी तो हूँ ना.
Okay.
कि may everyone be well and happy, है ना. And everyone, I am everyone too. तो मैं तो हूँ तो selfish, ऐसा तो हो नहीं सकता कि अपने बारे में ना सोचूं. तो बस खाली अपने बारे में ना बोल के, if I can say that, may everyone So I'm including me for sure. And yeah, good question. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Ritu.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank